at 80.
Yeah, I can hear the pilot now. Thanks.
It's just...
This is 4-5.
Stephanie, I would guess that was Cyclone 4
4-5.
indigenous Barbania.
Yeah, see, I tried that, and
Copy
then...
that. You want me to let you close the gap a little bit?
Some weird password.
Starting up.
The next target depth is 500 meters.
500.
Seem to have quite a bit of reflected light. That maybe those microparticles we were seeing down below gone into smoky particles at this location.
Currently heavy at Delta 10.
Yeah, I'm slowing down.
Was that a Keating Nath that just went off the top screen?
I missed it. It was suggested.
Yeah,
So
I'm mostly
pilots
missing, so I'm trying to log into the chat.
At 500 meters, it looks like pretty much a consistent 0.4 knots current, almost directly to the north.
Dick. Point how much?
0.4.
Ooh, okay.
So as we get close to that depth, we can start the move, because that'll be difficult for us to. I'll start to feel it for sure, because I'll get pushed into Sirius.
So we're heading up for our fourth transect for the day. We're going to go to 500 meters. And right now we're at 677
So I
meters.
might stop the current move.
That's fine.
Okay. Bridge, Nav.
Nav, bridge, go ahead.
Bridge, would you please come to an easy stop?
So we're running
Easy stop,
a
high.
transect at different depths, so we can look and see what sort of animals we see at each of them in order to compare between the different depths. And as you guys know, the Okeanos Explorer goes to many different locations, and then if we do a Midwater transect at the same or similar depths in different locations, we can do a comparison of where we see different types of animals or different species or different genera, depending on how good of a look we get at them and how easy or not it is to identify the organism taxonomically from video. Looks like there's a Keating-Nath possibly just going lower right off the screen, and a Radiolarian dead center. There's another oikopleurid larvacean in the center, but too close to us already to even focus on. Some of these organisms are so small, they're too close to focus on by the time we even realize what they are.
Hey, Stephanie, this is Mike Ford. I I just wanted to pick up on what you were saying about the layers that we do for the transects in Midwater. That we have a set of depths that we use for transects, and over time we accumulate lots of information about which taxa exists at certain depths. And our hope is over time we'll get a better understanding, for example, of the positioning in the water column, things like Freya's siphonophores as compared to Phytonex siphonophores. And perhaps one day we'll get a better data of the spray field, how that fits water column. So by exploring unknown but repeating generally the same features, we're able to build nice information, just ask them any questions environmental impact.
Hey Mike, thanks for that. Actually, your audio was getting really choppy for me by the end of what you were saying. See a couple different suggested shrimp in the lower left that we just passed by. Amanda, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know we could hear Mike okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, so his... Just passed by another radiolarian on the left. Oh, there's another one on the left.
Got you at a delta of 10 currently.
So we're at 636 meters now. There was a jelly off on the right, but it looked like a medusa, but then it looked like it was shimmering like a ctenophore, so that was kind of confusing to me. Oh, look at that. That was a nice shot of a radiolarian. Very reflective. So the radiolarians that we're seeing, they're single-celled organisms, and they have all those projections coming out of the main portion so that they have increased surface area so they can stay neutrally buoyant in the water column instead of sinking. Oh, there's a tiny little jelly over on the right.
On the latest update, the ADCP changed scale, so it still looks around the same, but it might, to me, it can only mean it's increasing.
Good luck.
Oh, it looks like the spike might be around 800 meters, that big current that we saw before.
You'll have access to the other one at this depth, right? The shallow water one.
That's what I'm looking at now.
Oh, cool.
Fish over on the left, making an escape maneuver. Like there was possibly another oikopleurid over on the right. Sorry if you guys are I'm still not logged into the chat, so if people are putting up things that we're seeing on there, I'm not actually seeing those comments. There's another radiolarian.
Yeah, it's really helpful to have you calling us out.
There's another one, dead center. So I feel like we saw quite a few of those, what looks to be the same radiolarians on our last set of midwater transects.
Yeah, we did.
Maybe not quite so many as we're seeing today.
Not this kind of number.
Yeah, I agree. I forget which, at what depths we were seeing them the other day, though. Actually, if they're the same as here or not.
So, pilots, I was thinking we might start on that
Yeah,
move.
I can't
since
remember.
We've got about 100 meters to go.
Sounds good.
Still showing.
I don't think it was on like the
Pretty
deeper
much.
one, so it may have been around some more depth.
Oh, now it looks like the current
More
has
towards the middle
swung
of the
to the
transect.
west, and there's no northerly at 500 meters.
So we're at 593
So-
meters right now. Making our way up to
Eastern bearing
500.
move to the east.
Sure. I would say start off relatively small, and we can make adjustments.
Okay.
There's a copepod to the. Oh, yep. Now you can see it spiraling.
Sorry, I was
Spiraling
reading it
its
wrong.
escape.
The current is to the east, so we'll move to the west against it to reduce its amplitude.
Current's going to the east.
Yeah.
Wait, so you want to move to the east?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
to reduce it.
Okay.
All right. So 090.
I think that was a cyclothony on the left. And here we have, there's I think an amphipod. It's hard to tell.
Bridge, Nav.
Nav bridge, go ahead.
The swimming seemed
Bridge, can I have a
characteristically
300 meter
amphipod-ish.
move.
Not
Bearing
shrimp-like.
090. At speed 0.1.
Roger. That is a 300 meter move bearing 090 at 0.1 knot.
Good copy, Bridge.
Fish off on the left. Not sure what that round structure was. Maybe part of a siphonophore. It's hard to discern. And there's a siphonophore
ROV nav bridge,
just
move
off the upper
initiated.
part of the screen.
Thank you, Bridge.
And a radiolarian on
70
the left.
meters to go.
We're at 573 meters. It's cephalopod week this week, so we really need to see a squid in the water
Are they
column.
welding, maybe? Is that what that weird light is just
The whole
anomalous?
week is cephalopod week?
Quite.
It just
Yeah, why
flashed
not?
completely orange.
No, I mean
Probably
it
welding.
actually is. I don't know who started it. It wasn't me. Actually, I think it was something started by Science Friday and the Monterey Bay Aquarium and some other people.
Oh,
I
definitely
think the
welding.
first year they did it was 2014 or 2015. But yeah.
It turned my heading here in.
I like it.
Okay, I'll follow you
We
around.
did actually see a sepiolid squid on the bottom earlier today, Amanda. That was exciting for me. But of course, I always want to see a squid in the water column.
Yes.
I'm greedy like that.
You have a problem if they're not.
We usually find we see most of our water column squid when none of our squid people are
Yeah, I'm
around.
facing about
Oh,
270.
so what you're saying is I should close my eyes or hide under the table?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Seems to be how it works.
I feel like that's often how it works for me as well. You know, you've been on the Western Flyer, so you know I've spent time on there. And when I leave the control room and go sit down and start working on my computer, that's when they'll see something really cool, and then I jump up and like walk briskly because there's no running on the ship. But get myself back to the control room.
So
I don't
the
think we ever had Mike introduce
ADCP
himself,
display,
did
it
we?
shows
Oh
the
no,
current.
we didn't.
It's
Mike,
so right now.
would you like to
It's,
tell us your role here, who
it
you are, where
displays
you
it's
work,
coming
and
from,
etc.?
or where it's going to.
Which go to.
Okay.
Sure,
Actually,
thank you.
unlike
I'm Mike
whales.
Ford. I'm an oceanographer with NOAA Fisheries, and I'm a research associate
So,
at Smithsonian.
When it's
And
positive,
my interest is usually gelatinous animals here in the midwater, so
Yeah.
I
on
get
the
very
positive
excited
side and to the north on the
seeing
blue side.
nucleophores
Yeah,
and
so we don't really have very
different
much
types of medusae
northerly,
that we see.
and
I've
we
been
have about
participating in a lot of
0.2
midwater dives,
easterly,
and
so that
I'm
should
excited
be 0.4
to
knots.
be kind of
So-
moving up
So
the
the
east
current
coast.
should be coming from behind you
So I'm
guys
looking
right
forward
now.
to the next view.
Great, thanks, Mike.
But it should be-
Mando,
you
you
said
want
it's
to
going to the east,
reintroduce
right?
yourself since
To
it's
the
been a
east.
bit?
So it should be coming in front of us, like
Sure.
onto our face.
I'm Amanda
And if we're
Nefford.
moving
I'm
that
an
way,
oceanographer
it'll end up
at
with.
NOAA's
Would you end up
Office
moving us
of
0.1?
Exploration and
0.1,
Research.
yeah.
Okay. So we'll shoot you 0.3 knot current, roughly.
The Exploration Command
Yes.
Center in Silverton,
At that
Maryland,
depth,
where
once we get up there.
our primary
They can change
offices are.
significantly in 50
So I'm
meters.
getting to watch those on a really big
So I can
screen,
believe
which
that
is always
still.
fun. My background is in the mesopelagic fish, so fish that are living between about 200 to 1,000 meters. But most of my work was conducted in the Pacific, so a lot of what we're seeing out here is new to me. It's been pretty cool to experience. I'm just excited to keep seeing what we see as we make our way up in the water column.
Thanks, Amanda. And again, this is Stephanie Bush. I work at the Smithsonian Natural History Museum, and I need to apologize for not earlier in the Midwater transecting operation ask the front row here, who's actually driving us around, flying us around, to introduce themselves.
Thanks, Stephanie. This is Joshua Carlson. I'm currently piloting the ROV D2 at the moment.
This is Andy Lister, and I am currently the co-pilot flying Sirius around.
And this is Andy O'Brien. I'm the ROV navigator.
Over
And in the far corner, you got Roland Bryan in video.
And in the back, in the video clipping chair, I'm Emily Narrow, and we are all with the Global Foundation for Ocean Exploration.
Okay, thanks everyone. So now everybody out there knows how many people it takes just in the control room to get this up and running and continuing. So right now we are at 520 meters. And again, we're going to do our fourth transect for our midwater transecting operation today. We're going to do that at 500 meters. And then our final transect for the day will be at 300 meters. So we're starting to see some krill swimming around and past our view now. And it looks like very close to the camera we have a cyclothony, the fish. A very, very common fish in actually around the world's oceans.
Yeah, a little more on cyclothony. Their common name is bristlemouth, and they're always hard to tell when we're looking at them on these streams, but most of them are quite small, and they're actually the most abundant vertebrate on the planet. So it's a fish most people have never seen before, but if you counted up all the individual species of vertebrates, we'd have
3
more
meters
of them
left.
than anything
Do you want me to turn on your lights?
Yes.
a lot of us are
Come wide on the
interested
camera.
in understanding more about them, their distributions and abundance.
Mains are on.
They're probably pretty important to the
2 meters to 500.
Yeah, thanks, Amanda. That's some good information on them. I forgot about their
Turn
common
that
name
direction as
actually.
well, since it seems to be.
But yeah, it's interesting. So the bristlemouths must be
Yeah, you could turn a little bit
less
before it.
apt to stick around in the presence
Just
of
trying to look at the
an
marine snow
ROV
in your,
because I feel like I
in your
see a
camera.
lot
Yeah.
more myctophids
Coming to a stop.
in the water column than I do bristlemouths. But
I'm gonna push ahead.
that hasn't been true in the Atlantic, but most of my
Looks
experience has been in the Pacific
good.
along California. So
You might want to speed up that move
Yeah.
a little bit.
Double it, maybe.
Okay.
I read on
Bridge,
the
Nav.
kind of more central Western Pacific work that we did on
Nav's
the
bridge,
Capstone
go ahead.
campaign
Bridge,
over
can I
the last
increase
few
the
years off
move
of
or the speed
Okeanos,
of the current move
and then
to
the
decimal
recent
2 knots?
expedition I've gone with Bruce Robertson
Roger,
in,
increasing
the
speed
White
to
Park
decimal 2.
Cafe.
Thank you,
We've got
Bridge.
many more cyclothony of it.
okay.
All right.
But the mycophids, they just be less
When you're ready,
abundant.
Andy, Navigator Andy, we can start the transect.
That's actually
Copy
interesting.
that.
Swimming hatchetfish, lower center.
Watch lead, Nav. We're beginning the 500-meter
Let
transect.
him go.
Okay, thanks, Nav. So we just started the 500-meter transect at 2109 UTC.
Great, thank you.
Just as we were starting, I was seeing quite a few krill, although I don't see any at the moment. And Roland said
Fish
he
bottom
saw
center.
hatchetfish down at the bottom, but it's now gone. And there we have another. Actually, that's not a cyclothony. That looks like a Coliotis.
It's coming at me.
All right,
Yeah, but like a juvenile one. That is really cool.
Tracking focus.
that is really cool.
So the adults are not that
Minimum focus.
transparent, which is why I'm saying I think it's a juvenile. I've never seen a juvenile before, though.
Pushing away.
They're one of the midwater fish, and you can see it now. They can't even close their mouth because their teeth are so big, and that is an adaptation that is common in a number of deep sea fish because, as you can see if you've been watching the video, we don't see all that many things. So if you are a predator and you come across a prey item, you definitely want to be able to fit it in your mouth. So it behooves you to have very large teeth in order to do that.
So the common name for these ones is viper fish. And one of the things you may have noticed are
Stream straight
photophores
ahead.
along the belly.
ahead.
The cyclothony also have those, but they tend to be pretty hard to see.
Shrimp.
It's a really common trait out here in the midwater to have these light-producing organisms along the ventral surface, the belly of the animal,
Go ahead.
that helps them, for anything looking up at them, trying to eat them. It helps them blend into the light that's coming down from above.
Right now we're looking
Yeah,
at a
sun go.
surgested shrimp, and you can tell surgested shrimp very easily because they
It's a
have
pretty good
those
speed.
very, very large antennae, although that particular individual looked like one of the antennae had
Okay, we'll
broken
stay
off.
here then.
But I think they can grow those back as they molt. Now we have a few
What was
krill
the length of
swimming
that move that
by.
you put in?
300 meters. We
Okay.
got quite a way to go.
Okay, great. Let's get in the center real quick. I don't know what that is. Mucus.
That's mucus.
Come on out.
There's another
Fish top
cyclothony
center.
or bristlemouth on the upper right.
Let's get this real quick.
Yeah, that's
it's coming out.
somebody's mucus cloud, but that somebody seems to be long gone, unfortunately. There are quite a number of organisms living in the water column that use mucus webs to capture particles and feed on. Oh, this is a nice view of a prayed siphonophore. It looks pretty similar to one we saw previously, although this one has a much longer cyphosome, or the tail end that has the feeding and reproductive structures. And over on the right is the nectosome, or nectophore, sorry, which are the swimming bells. And you can tell a prayed siphonophore because they just have one structure, one swimming, or I guess it's two swimming bells. Actually, Mike, what's the correct terminology on that? Is it one or two nectophores on a prayed?
Nectophores, that would be two.
Okay.
On this one, and Dougal just piped in. This is Desmophes, the next end.
Let's come wide.
Is the
Full wide.
the genus Desmophes.
Snap in.
So it looks great, yeah, and you can get a lot of that morphology right from looking at the swimming bells.
I can follow you around if you'd like.
All right, I actually don't know what kind of fish this
I'll
is.
do that right now just to keep you in view just a little bit.
Thank you.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. It is clearly highly reflective, and it looks like it has a lot of photophores on the ventral surface, so it's got similar adaptations to the viperfish that we saw a few minutes ago, but
Drifting towards you.
I think this is unrelated. Now you're getting a really good view of all those photophores along the ventral surface. And as Amanda was mentioning earlier, those are used to cancel out the silhouette of the animal by producing their own light or bioluminescence from those photophores, so that predators looking upward from below can't pick out the fact that there's a fish present.
Okay, let's reposition. Gonna move around a little bit here, Stephanie.
Hey, no worries.
Yeah, Dougal is guessing Vincigaria. I was definitely thinking it's a Prosixia, which is the family that Vincigaria are in. But it seems to be a species that we don't see in the Pacific because it didn't look familiar to me or any of the other folks on here. That was amazing and some really, really awesome imagery.
Yeah, that was great footage. And yeah, I don't remember ever seeing Vincigaria along the coast of California, although I do remember catching them in trawl nets in the Gulf of California.
There's a very small something.
Yeah, they're well, the Vincigaria are more associated with the eastern tropical Pacific, and so when there is a lot of water mass coming up to California, there can be an influx of Vincigaria, I think, particularly of the larvae. So you'll sometimes see them in particularly warm years, but they're not consistently out there. And quite possible they avoid ROVs in general. So there's typically see more of them in a net than in an ROV. So
Coming to center server.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's another cyclothone or bristlemouth. Again, the most common vertebrate on the planet.
Okay, come on up. Oh, there's that many of them, huh? Doing something right. Jeez.
So there's a suggested just going off the bottom left side of the screen. Suggested shrimp. Those are the ones that have the very long antennae. And it looks like there's a parieid siphonophore upper right.
Mucus.
Yeah, mucus string. That looked like that looked similar to what I've seen radiolarian mucus feeding strings.
Going up.
Which wouldn't be surprising given that we've seen quite a few
just right of center that white dot. I think I just saw it reflect.
I think this is what we just looked at. But go ahead.
Shrimp lower right.
Yeah, that looks like krill possibly, but yeah, I think that's a krill.
Okay, watch leads and pilots. That marks the conclusion of the 500-meter transect.
All right.
All right, thank you. So that was the end of the 500-meter transect at 2119 UTC.
Do that again.
So now we're going to move up to our last transect for the day, which will be at 300 meters.
There's something in there.
So that 500-meter flyer coincided with the peak of the acoustic backscatter that we can see with the EK60 in Stream 3. And that layer definitely seems to be particularly fishy, I would say. We saw the Poliotis or the viperfish, many cyclothony, bristlemouths.
What's the next one, 300?
Yes, 300 meters.
And then the Apophysius, the unidentified Apophysius. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, we saw a lot more fish on that transect than we have on any of the other transects so far on this cruise.
I don't think we'll make it to the next level.
No,
we
we'll be relieved.
And also the fact that we started seeing krill and surgestids also matches that. This looks like the radiolarian in the center.
I think these chairs are getting to me.
Or your back exercises you did earlier.
That probably did too.
Good leg day.
Yeah.
There's another radiolarian. Looks like a bristlemouth on the right. We're at 482 right now. That looks like it was part of a siphonophore. It was hard to tell. I didn't see the nectophore, so. looks like a fish that would just swam off the lower right side.
Right there.
So we're going to have a pilot, co-pilot, navigator switch over as we transit up to 300 meters because it's dinner time out on the ship. So, of course, we want our pilot, co-pilot, and navigator to eat dinner. There's a suggested shrimp that just went off the bottom of the screen. So if you're just tuning in, this is Stephanie Bush.
Go ahead.
I work at the
Bridge, I'd
Smithsonian
like to
National
extend
Museum
the
of
current
Natural
move that we're
History.
on. So instead of
And
going
we're
out 300
doing some
meters,
work in the water column today.
we just want to keep going.
We're using a
so let's say,
methodology
600
called
meters total.
transecting,
Roger that.
where we
I
are
will
traveling
add
at a set
300 meters
depth
to the current
for
position move.
about 10
Thank you,
minutes. And we use that to compare between depths as well as compare between locations geographically to see what kind of organisms we see throughout the water column and as well as what kind of organisms we're seeing in different parts of the ocean.
All right, so we're making our way up to 300. Is that right?
That's right, pilot.
Okay.
300 meters next transect.
Just doing Z bias. I might just do
It's correct, new pilot Dan.
I'm going into manual mode. So it's been a little easier today than last time.
We're just dialing it in a little closer each time, and last one was just perfectly dialed in by nav.
Okay. And you guys are moving toward the east?
We've been changing
Yes.
on every level.
Okay.
Looks like the current from 500 to 300 meters is relatively consistent. There's a little bit of a jump at 400 meters or so.
How much further did that move have before it ends? I don't want it to end on you.
I just added another 300 meters.
Smart. Okay, cool.
Lighting looks good. Is that you, Andy?
All I did was turn off the mains.
You did it really well, though.
Did.
Thank you.
Spectacular.
Takes a certain skill.
So for anybody that's just tuning in right now, we actually did a transect at 950 meters, 880 meters, 700, 500, and our last transect for the day will be at 300. And the reason that
So
we
we're doing-
chose
just
the
one more transect
particular
at 3?
deeper depths that
That'll
we
take
did
us toward the
today
end?
was
Yes.
because on
Okay.
the way down we
And
detected
then we stole 5 minutes from
anomaly
the setup
around
time
880 meters that
to
had higher
increase
oxygen
the
and lower
transect
temperatures
at
than
880 meters.
Okay.
than we would normally see at
Dive
those
Super
depths, and
says
so
that
we
we'll
wanted
pretty
to
much
check
already
those
be
out.
set up how we want to
And
recover.
One
So
of
we're
the
gonna be near
things
the
that we
setting
saw
for
visually
recovery.
when we did our transects at those depths was that there was a lot
Great. It's easy.
denser marine snow. So all
early?
this light-colored
No, we're on
particulate
time.
material in the water column
What time does he want to be
that
at 50 meters?
we observe
Or
all throughout the
22:30
oceans,
UTC.
all throughout depths. But here we're
okay,
seeing
he doesn't
much
want
less
to be
dense
early or
marine
anything.
snow than we were at
50
deeper depths.
meters.
Like I said,
Yeah.
around 880
Yeah.
meters.
1530 is
Actually,
what
it
I have.
was
Okay.
I think about
Local.
900 meters up to 795 meters, where it was a lot more
okay.
dense.
So this is going to be like
than it is
a
up here.
40, or I guess like 30 minute transect or something
Over
like
on the
that.
left, we're seeing
So,
another
from
parade.
where we
Or we're
are-
at 10 meters a
siphonophore.
minute, that's right, so 15 minutes to get there, set up.
So it's and actually there's
40
another one in the
Yeah, so
background.
maybe about 20 minutes.
And
Yeah, so
possibly over on the right, although
we
again,
should.
I'm not sure about
so we
that one.
started rising in 2123.
So those are colonial organisms
2121. 23
move
is what was
around
on the
using
schedule.
swimming bells at one end, and then they have
21:43.
a tail that has zooids that have their stomachs
Let me
and
get myself
stinging
sorted here.
tentacles, as well as their reproductive structures.
Yeah, so 21:43 is when we should arrive at 300 meters.
Actually, another thing, Amanda,
The
that
transect
I'm
should
just thinking
conclude
of
at
is on the deeper
21:56.
transects, we
Okay.
saw quite a
And then we'll
lot more
be done with our setup by
medusae compared to here.
22:05.
Although up here we're seeing quite a few more siphonophores.
Or, no, sorry, we'll begin our
than we
setup
were
at
down deep.
22:05
Okay.
and complete it at 22:30.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, 25 minutes of
So
setup.
Mike, do you have any thoughts about that? I feel like that's.
If dive super is comfortable here, we might just
I
extend
feel
it.
like we often
We'll
see kind of a layer.
Well,
of
he'll come down and let us
siphonophores
know like how much time he
around
wants.
that.
That's cool.
Yeah, he mentioned that earlier.
Okay.
Curious if Mike has any thoughts on that too.
All right.
When I get off
Yeah,
watch, I can go track him down and
I
ask
think
him to
I think
come
there
back
might be
and
something
update
to
us.
that.
Okay,
I think
cool.
I feel like when we get in the shallower depths, we do seem to see a lot more of the siphonophores. We certainly see some very interesting medusae fairly deep on the transects, and very, very interesting medusae not too far off the bottom sometimes. There's not a lot of information to base that off of, so a lot of it's just sort of a guess. But certainly you can see sort of a dominance of observations of siphonophores in a lot of our midwater transects up in that area, and sometimes fewer medusae are around. That's sort of kind of what we're slowly accumulating a base of information to learn more about. We had several full-day midwater dives, just a couple in the capstone expedition, and that was very useful because we had a lot of layers that we were able to build and learn a little bit more, and kind of we've extracted from that all of the observations of siphonophores and are looking now to see if we can see any patterns. If we, for example, do we see prey close to the surface and Physonex a little bit deeper? It's not really clear, but it would be great to learn more. A lot of these things in the ecology that we're looking at, we just don't know a lot more. We were chatting back and forth with Google.
So long as we're making our way up to 300 meters depth,
and sort of,
and that's going to be our last transect, and
what the food source
set up to recover.
How the presence or absence of those organisms
whenever we
might tell us a little bit
leaving
about
ourselves
the level of
however
silica.
much time we think
And
we need to do so
It's just not known.
to get set up to recover. And then
we're slowly.
I think he said he's going to be around this
learning
heading
more
on the
about
ship,
this
so
incredible environment.
We're just going to swing
and
around then?
kind of have to step back every once in a
Do
while
a-
and realize
to
it's
recover
almost
similar
completely
to this heading?
unexplored, and
yeah, I mean,
we're very
I
lucky.
think you're pretty much
one of the
just going to have to
3 or
turn to
4
port,
ships that
line
are
up with the ship.
You should stay the
adding
same way.
a
Just
lot of
pull out.
observations to science.
Yeah,
so we
pretty
can
much.
find more
Yeah,
about
I mean,
stuff,
I'll more or
find
less
out
be
more
in this
about the
direction. We'll see where
concepts
we're
for
pointed
ecology
once we get up into the
and
300 meter current, but I don't
Copy that.
expect it'll be too much different based on
Yeah,
the
good points there
ECP.
about siphonophores, and I generally think of
So it should be pretty straightforward.
Praeids as being shallower and Physonex as being deeper.
And now when you're doing this, how do you,
But again,
how would you like me
my
to
ROV
communicate with you?
experience,
Do
other
you want
than
me to
this
stay at a
cruise,
certain
is
heading and
limited
let you know
to
when
off
you're
the
getting
coast
out of
of
my view? Do you
California.
want me to follow you a little bit?
One thing I wanted to say,
so
actually, Mike, that maybe you
I think it's
didn't
important
notice if you weren't.
just keep your
I'm
heading
assuming
consistent
you were
and you
busy
keep your
earlier
camera
today
angle
and weren't able to
consistent.
watch the
And
benthic
then
portion
if
of the
you
dive,
see
but
me
we
drifting
did
out of
see a
view,
benthic
you can ask, do you want me to
earlier
tilt
today.
down? Do you want me to turn my head?
Okay, copy that.
Because my only
those are
frame of
great.
my
I
only
like-
frame of
I like
reference
those. Those
is
are absolutely
your
fantastic.
camera position.
Was it kind of attached to the bottom then?
Yeah, it was attached and it had quite a long stock. I don't recall if we got a measurement on that, but
Thanks, AD.
it was further
Andy.
off the bottom. Stock length was longer than what I've seen in other benthic siphonophores. Although the only benthic siphonophores I've seen previously
Can we,
were Dromelia, not sure how to pronounce it, but
Can you change
in
this
Monterey Bay.
back to
And this one was very,
sonar or
the actual
back or-
main body of the organism was quite
is it this
small.
keyboard here?
It's got to be one of those.
So I don't have any idea about identification or if it was a a new one or juvenile or anything like that.
Okay, so currently we're moving
Was this one,
west,
Stephanie, was it
east.
sort of a
ship's
plain
moving
orange
east at
float,
point 2.
or did the
How
float
do you guys
have
like
some
the current
stripes
right
in
now?
it?
I don't remember seeing
Starting
stripes.
to shift off more to my
It
port
was
side.
Okay.
pinkish and translucent, but I don't recall seeing stripes.
But if
So
you
that means
rotate,
it's- Yeah, I'm going to start coming
Absolutely
around.
saying, I'm
Would you like
looking
me to
forward
follow you
to.
around?
But we were
looking
going
up that
point
video
2
footage for
toward
later.
the east, right?
that is correct.
Yeah, I wanted to let you know so that you could do that. I'm actually going to sign
why don't
off
you go
for
and
a
turn your
little
head to
bit
port?
so I can go
Okay.
have
Follow you
Follow
dinner
me.
real quick. Possibly before we get to our next transect, but possibly not. So, Amanda and Mike and the people in the chat room, keep us going with telling us what we're seeing, okay?
Will do. Enjoy dinner.
All right. Thanks.
So the EDCP computer is showing a current around 400, which is where we are. That's going to the west about 0.2 meters per second, so about 0.4 knots
Okay.
right here.
Going from east to west, you said?
Yes.
Well, if it's going
No, going
west to east. Because right now we have point 2
going to the east.
going to the east. Okay.
So if this is showing east, that means is it coming or going? The EDCP.
That's the direction that it's going.
Okay, so it's going to the east.
Okay. And then so it's 0.4 to the east, and we're moving the ship 0.2 to the east, so we should see a relative current of 0.2. Correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
So hello everybody, this is Cheryl Morrison. I'm taking over for Stephanie while she eats dinner. So I am not a
Starting
Midwater
to drift
person.
in just a little bit there, Dan.
Probably have nowhere near the knowledge of Stephanie, but I will still be listening and helping wherever I can.
So why don't you go ahead and turn your head back to like 210?
Thanks, Cheryl.
Copy
You
that.
have
Going back
Amanda
to
Neffern
210.
and Mike Ford are both on the line here.
Bridge,
to help
this
out
nav.
with some of that as well.
Go ahead now.
Just
Great,
wanted to know
thanks.
how long, how far do you have in this move? How many?
There's 414 meters left in this move.
All right, copy. Thank you.
So what kinds of things have you seen so far?
So Lars, you're going to stop at a
some
depth
the
of
most exciting
285.
stuff that
That's
we've
correct.
seen
I'm
were
gonna stop at
in the
300.
500
Copy that.
meter layer depth. There were a lot of fish, so a lot of cyclothony,
Sitting happy at
bristle
210.
mouth, and then a Chiliotis, which is called a viper fish, which are pretty rare to see with the ROVs. And then Coccyxiid fish that none of us were able to identify. That was pretty amazing. We got some really nice footage of all the
I'm assuming that this
protocols
screen
on
saying
it.
pilot doesn't mean anything.
Go ahead, Bob.
And then we've been seeing a lot of different siphonophores in the deeper areas.
Yeah, you can call it out, but I'll let you know when to zoom.
You know, the kind of classical jellyfish.
I'm sorry, Lars, what were you saying?
I was just wondering about this
Wow.
pilot diagram
Sounds
in the
really
middle.
good.
It
Oh,
doesn't matter.
Don't worry about that. Yeah. If you touch the screen, it comes on, but it doesn't
And we're
actually do anything right now.
between transects now. Is that right?
Yeah, so we're transiting now.
Go ahead and bring your head over to
the 500 meter
230.
transect. We're on our way up
Going
to
back to
300.
230.
Okay.
Be our last
Looking
one
at
for
the
the
tether,
day.
and that looks about
Great.
right.
So is this
Yeah, that looks
an
pretty
unusual amount of particulates in the water column for this depth? It seems kind of a lot of marine snow.
Yeah, so it is a lot of marine
Yeah, this is
snow.
better
And what's
here.
really crazy is that
Okay, so this time
you know, around,
we're actually ahead.
we did our first
Because
transect
we're,
at
the ship is
950 and our
facing
second at
into the wind,
880, and at those
similar
depths
to
it
what
was
we want for recovery. So
3-4 times as
And
thick
Dive
as
Super
this.
confirmed
It was
that he
really,
wants to.
really dense.
that's
So
what
nice to know.
Andy told me before
Okay.
shooting down
Yeah,
here.
there was this interesting layer.
Bobby had said that we were
You know,
pretty
really
much
dense
the
marine
same.
snow that was
Okay.
coincident
We'll use
with
whatever time we have for the
some
transect. So
kind of
should be fine.
anomalous looking oxygen levels and temperature.
So our ascent time
Right,
is
where we
10
saw
minutes.
that step on the profile.
And then, you know, assuming we need like 3 minutes, get set up.
Yeah, exactly. So that
So I
seems to
think, yeah,
coincide
if
with
we
this really thick
leave
marine
these
snow
depths
layer.
maybe,
So it's possible,
22.
you know, there's kind of
that
a
would be
density anomaly
okay.
along with those other features that the marine
that
snow
early,
kind of getting trapped in that layer as it comes down.
I mean,
but this
if
does seem to be
Bobby doesn't
a
come down here,
pretty productive site.
Then
And,
we'll
you know,
be
I
at
mean,
the
I
surf.
came
We'll be
in
at
the
50
room while
meters
you were
by
just finishing
15
up
minutes early.
the seafloor work, and it sounds like
But if we're
you were
setting
in
up
a
on this
really
heading, we won't have to do
dense
much maneuvering. But
area in terms of the fauna there as
I
well.
understand.
Yes, it was.
You want to
it
keep
was
us on
very
schedule, so
biodiverse.
we'll do whatever
There
you think
were,
we need.
More black corals in that site than I've ever seen in one place before, and a lot of different octocorals. I don't know, 5 or 6 bamboo corals species at least, or genera actually, and then other octocorals. It was the first time we've seen scleractinians on this expedition so far. Also, it was pretty amazing.
Yeah. So I mean, it seems to me like there must be a pretty steady food source here. That's, you know, that connection between the pelagic and the seafloor.
22.05.
You know, all this stuff raining down becomes food for those guys. So.
A healthy margin for everybody.
Okay.
But
Sounds good. That'll give us some time to make sure Lars stows everything properly and we get configured the way we want for recovery.
Satellite imagery
So
of,
that sounds good. Fine to me.
You know, fluorescence and sea
Passing
color.
300 right now in Sirius.
You know,
Copy.
particularly productive spot at the surface.
Yeah, that would be really interesting.
Like Ford, who's on the line, has done some of that for the past expeditions out during the Capstone campaign and maybe in the Gulf as well, to kind of help with our midwater dive planning and interpretation.
Go ahead and turn your head to 245.
Swinging around to 245.
Just FYI, I'm having trouble with the chat room right now, so...
Yeah, I got kicked out already.
Anything that comes in.
I was in and then got kicked out, and now I'm back, so...
So you feel good with
I got kicked out a couple of times.
Yeah, I think it's going to work fine.
Let me back in, so I'll keep trying.
Okay. It's being temperamental, that's for sure.
Okay, D2's at 300 meters, putting in auto depth. I'm going to bring my camera down,
So
and Lars, can you please turn the main lights on?
Coming on with port main and starboard main.
Transparent.
Both should be on.
They were all over the place
Arriving
a minute ago,
at
but now they've
285
disappeared,
and
it
begin to
seems.
slow down
Okay.
and settling there.
Anybody know what
And,
those
I
are? I'm
believe
sure it's something very obvious, but...
that you can,
Mike, did you
what does the instruction
those?
sheet say about the lights? We were deploying the
I
swing
did
arms,
not.
right?
Yeah, I did not see any.
We've just been turning on the lights on and off at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Let's try
a couple of siphonophores,
using our swing arms.
maybe a
See what
fish
that
here
does
and
for us.
there.
So I'm going to go ahead and start the transect, and you can
nothing
adjust the
looks like
lighting
Copy that.
as we do that. How's that?
Definitely something different than a larvation
the
house,
lower should be
but no, I
partially
didn't
out,
see
it looks
anything.
like.
Exactly, that's what the instructions say.
We
Lower is
sometimes get
partially
into
out.
patches of amphipods.
Oh, you have
If they were perfectly spherical, that's not what it was, but they can be very transparent. But I unfortunately did not catch it.
All right, shoreside, we have reached our depth of 300 meters. We're just getting the lights set up now, but we can go ahead and start our 300-meter transect now at 2141 UTC.
Great, thank you.
Roger that, Nav. Thanks.
Center, go for center. Yeah, he's coming in at me pretty fast. Hold there.
What is that?
Is he getting closer or further? I think he's getting closer, yeah.
Nice.
That's inboard.
You know what that is?
I think that's inboard way too far.
Trying to look, it's not coming in on excellent focus, so it's hard to see.
On the swing arm? The port lower swing arm?
Would you like to come out? That was very interesting, I'm not sure.
Still down there in the lower left.
Wow, that is really cool.
If you go too far, it hits the shilling, so you got to be careful of that.
Right there's probably good.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead and zoom in. Yeah, both lower swing arms can hit the manipulators, so you got to watch out for that.
I believe it was a crustacean of some sort. It almost looked like a copepod to me, but our screen was pretty pixelated here.
Yeah, it was refracting a lot as well, so it almost looked like it was salacious. Dougal thinks it could have been a lobster larva tucking out.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I would buy that.
Would you like me to come down with my camera to keep you in the viewfield?
No, you're fine.
Right, okay. Does that look alright with the lights? Or?
Yeah, you could bring the starboard lower back outboard a bit and match the port one.
Trichodesmium?
Upper right. Okay.
So that was the second thing we saw, is that correct?
Good. Center, go ahead. Up right there.
Yep, that's right. That's kind of a cyanobacteria that we saw. It could have been, certainly looked like that was a type of material that kind of floated by shortly after the organism that we were speculating could have been a large larva or some type of copepod.
Okay, great.
Lower center. Go ahead. Okay, go ahead and come out.
Looks like it's some sort of protest.
This looks like what we saw previously. So this could be
back to center.
Another sort of could be trichodesmium as well.
Okay.
Go for it. Hold there. Go ahead and zoom in.
Siphonophore.
Okay, go ahead and come out.
Yep, that looks like a prayed siphonophore.
What's that?
You may want to push ahead a little bit. You certainly see a very simple nectophore at the front with the pulsing bells and a long cyclosome coming off the bottom.
I think
very cool to see.
Once I get to actually get cut off on the bottom of the screen. Okay, go ahead and zoom in.
And looks like another one right here in the top right.
Go ahead, Nev.
We can try to zoom in on the pulsing bells. That gives us
do you see what he's saying, Bob?
Lots of information about what it might be.
Okay, let's come back out. So once I start to drift back toward the bottom of your screen,
He has not been up here since
I think I'm still safe, but I'll just have you tilt down if you just let me know.
And it's just
Because technically I could even go underneath of you 90 degrees if I find something really cool that we want to stay on. And then you'll just have to come up on the ledge and tilt down.
So you don't get to look at the entire animal.
Verify. Oh, and he's right
Okay,
behind
Bob, back with you. Center, go for it. No. Okay. Coming back up to center. Oh, how about that? Go ahead and zoom in. Hold there. Mucus. All right, come back up. Here we got some stuff. Let's go for this on the left.
That last mass could have been a protist.
Go ahead and go in.
I just missed it, though, so it's hard to tell whether that was a protist or a collapsed larvation house.
Okay. Come back out. I'll come back up to center. All right.
Okay, that was Dive Soup. He told me that we need to start coming up at 21:56, so we have still maybe 3 more minutes of the transect.
Oh, we need to start ascending
So
at
was our lighting
21:56?
the same as it was on previous transects?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we're getting the same level of side lighting that we did before, and I'm just unsure if
some time
we've
to set up
changed the light configuration.
We're not recovering at the setting, I guess. Then.
I imagine.
Okay.
He didn't say much more than that.
Okay. All right, Bob, how about this little swimming thing? Go ahead and zoom in. And more. Keep zooming. See it? It's kind of off in the distance now. You can go ahead. Go ahead, watch 2.
Copy that.
Yes. Is it better or worse? Okay. Okay. Why don't we try bringing the lowers all the way outboard?
All the way outboard?
Yeah.
Copy that.
I just asked, and yeah, the lighting has been changed a little bit, and they're going to bring some more light up.
Not sure what that is.
Okay, the lowers are coming more outboard?
Sure.
Lowers all the way outboard, yeah.
Coming all the way out.
Top. Okay.
Lowers are all the way outboard.
Okay. Can you ask them if this is better?
Watch lead. Does that look better? This is co-pilot.
Co-pilot, I will ask.
Copy that.
Is this better for you guys?
Okay, go ahead and zoom in.
I'm not sure. I think so, perhaps. It's still difficult to, perhaps we just don't have a lot of organisms in sight right now.
Go ahead and zoom in.
Thanks for making the adjustments.
Sure. Co-pilot, it's a little bit better probably, but it's hard to say because there's also not a lot in the water column right here.
Copy that, watch lead. Don't hesitate to ask if you want to change again in the future.
You can go ahead and you can bring him back inboard and see if they like it better.
Copy that.
And just so you all know, we only have a couple more minutes left on this transect, unfortunately, and we're going to have to come up.
Right center.
Thanks for letting us know.
Pardon me.
Great, we just saw another mass that could have been trichodesmium. We saw 3 or 4, maybe even half a dozen of the small aggregations of cyanobacteria kind of floating around.
I brought them slightly more inboard, so they're at like a 30-degree angle now, rather than fully out.
So Stephanie, we're just kind of playing around with the lighting a little bit and seeing, you know, what they find more ideal. So feel free to continue to get updates on what they think about that.
Okay.
Go ahead and zoom in. Go ahead, Bob. Sorry, Bob. Can you repeat, Fernando?
Sorry to tell you, but we are done with this transect.
Oh, we're done right now?
Yep.
Oh. All right. Shoreside, we've just been informed by Dive Super that we need to start setting up for recovery in order to give ourselves enough time to get the ship in the orientation that we need to recover the vehicle. So we're going to call this the end of our 300-meter transect at 2153 UTC.
All right, thank you very much.